Welcome back to Be That Live. Be yourself and live your purpose. We're kicking off this series with a shift that changes not just how you see money, but how you see yourself. You don't own it, you manage it. Money feels so personal because we work for it, sweat for it, sometimes even cry for it. But here's something to think about. What if money isn't really yours? What if it's something entrusted to you like a resource on loan waiting to be handled wisely? Let me introduce to you Fred, not a CEO, not a millionaire, not even a guy with a fancy title. Fred is one employee everyone trusts. When he first started, he was in charge of a few hundreds in petty cash. But Fred treated that small amount like it was gold. He recorded every cent, he double checked every receipt. He never once thought of pocketing even a single peso. The bosses noticed, little by little, they gave him more to handle. First thousands, then 10,000s, eventually hundreds of thousands. And every single time, Fred handled it with the same honesty and care. At home, he lived the same way. He saved, he lived within his means and set something aside for emergencies. He didn't even measure his worth by what he owned. His value came from how faithfully he managed what passed through his hands. So Fred's story shows us something simple but powerful. When you're faithful in the small things, you can be entrusted with bigger things. That's true with money, but it's also true with life. Think about your talents. If you use them, they grow. If you hide them, you lose them. Skills, opportunities, even creativity. They're like muscles. They only get stronger if you use them. So purpose works the same way. Rarely do we get the big stage right away. Purpose shows up in how you handle today's tasks, today's resources, today's opportunities. If you treat small responsibilities like they matter, you're preparing yourself for bigger ones. So ask yourself, am I proving faithful with what's already in my hand? Or I'm waiting for something big before I take life seriously? So here's where the mindset shift comes. If you think you own money, your identity rises and falls with how much you have. When your account is full, you feel good. When it's empty, you feel worthless. But if you see yourself as a manager, you're free. Money doesn't define you anymore. It becomes a tool for your calling, not a scoreboard for your worth. Not a scoreboard for your worth. So ownership asks, what do I have? Management asks, what am I here for? And how do I use this to build it? That's the connection between money and purpose. And here's another layer. When money owns you, it becomes your master. You take jobs you hate just for the paycheck. You compromise your values to get quick gains. And you shrink your dreams because you're afraid of losing money. But when you manage money as fuel, it works for you. It powers your purpose. It helps you grow. Fred didn't use money to prove status. He managed it so his work and his life could thrive. That's what purpose in action looks like. So remember this line: when money is your master, it limits what you can do. When money is your servant, it helps you do what you're meant to do. So, how do we start living like managers, not owners? Small. Always start small. Handle every peso with care, whether it's 100 or 100,000. Track where your money goes. Even small leaks can sink a ship. So you should know where you should track it, your spending. Treat savings not as leftovers, but part of your plan. You don't save based on what you have left. You should really prioritize savings and ask yourself, does the way I handle money line up with the life I'm meant to live? That's a good question. Fred didn't wake up managing hundreds of thousands. He earned that trust step by step, peso by peso, actually centavo by centavo. And you and I can do the same. So today's takeaway is this: you don't own it. You manage money. Money isn't a trophy that defines you. It's a resource entrusted to you. So be faithful in the small and you'll be trusted with more. Use your gifts, your talents, your money, or you risk losing them. So open your journal and write these questions. Where in my life am I being entrusted with the small things right now? And how am I handling them? Okay, be honest. Are you the type that just spends, that goes shopping in Lazada or Shopee or any Amazon and just waste your money? I mean, shopping is not bad. But how do you handle it? Do I see money as mine or something I've been given to manage? This is going to be an exciting series, especially when you start seeing that money is it especially when you start seeing that money isn't just about getting by. It's about living free enough to fully do what you're meant to do. So next time, we'll talk about contentment and why learning to say enough might be the most freeing financial decision you'll ever make. So if you like this episode, please share it to a friend. And until then, this is Roca Cruz reminding you, be yourself and live your purpose.